All right, everybody. Thanks so much for stopping by another live episode of Real Estate Titans, sponsored by Lion Bolt Media. I'm your host, Greg Fowler, traveling throughout the marketplace, interviewing the top real estate professionals in our field, essentially gathering insight, inspiration, what really drives and motivates these top producers above and beyond everybody else in what I'd like to consider a real estate titan. Our very special guest and feature time today, right here. You know what's so beautiful about this? Right here in our own state, beautiful Colorado, from Highlands Ranch, none other than Margaret Hamilton. Margaret, it's an honor and a pleasure to have you here. I cannot wait to dive into the series of questions. So thank you so much for taking the time.
Well, thank you, Greg, for having me and to allow me to share my story.
Oh, this is great. And seriously, I remember this was a while ago, Margaret, but I know that we met up. Gosh, I want to say a year or two, maybe even 2 years ago.
I think it was about 2 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, it was such a wonderful meeting just to get to know you personally. And it was just so warm. And again, I can't wait for everybody to hear your story and kind of a little bit of understanding of how I know you and that sort of thing. So I guess let's just start with the first question, which is really your background. So who you are, where you're from, what got you into the business, where you are today with Exit, the background story, if you will.
All right. Who am I? Well, I'm a regional owner for Exit Realty in Colorado, and I do have a partner. That's my husband, Kevin.
Love it.
So I'm not doing it by myself. But a lot of people always ask, like, what is that regional owner does? Like, what do you do? Well, what we do is we have a right to sell Exit franchises in Colorado under the Exit brand. So our job is to build up brokers and agents to be successful and hopefully join in with our Exit brand.
I love that. And going into that, Margaret, what was your progression to, regional and franchisee and really helping people? What was the path that led up to where you are today?
Well, that goes back 37 years ago.
Love it.
When I got on a KLM plane coming out of Budapest.
Wow.
I landed in New York City. I came to visit my uncle who still lives in Connecticut.
Wow.
And I had met my ex-husband and we got married in 3 months.
Wow.
It's one of those like 90 days fiance, I guess. I don't know.
Sure. Right.
But anyway, so I was, so I stayed in the US in 37 years ago. Obviously, when I came, I didn't speak any English.
Wow.
I had no money. I just came with $50 in my pocket because I was visiting my uncle, right?
Yeah.
So I was tossed into a brand new environment, no friends, no, relatives are one thing, but when you get uprooted from your home, that's a whole different feeling.
For sure.
And just not to speak the language, that was a huge barrier because even so I had a nursing degree in Hungary, I couldn't work right away because you really kind of need to speak English to be a nurse, right?
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
So I stayed home and I went to school and all. So I started learning the language. Then I was able to get back to my nursing. So I have worked in hospitals and nursing homes for many, many years.
Wow.
Until around 93. My ex-husband already had a construction business going, but it's just started to take off. And we had an option of either hiring someone who does the back end or no more weekends, no more holidays. And back then I had a 3-year-old son.
Wow.
And just stay home and just run the back end of that construction business. So for me, that was a no-brainer.
Okay.
I mean, you have a small child, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it just nothing's better than you don't have to wake him up in early morning and drop him off at the daycare. It's much nicer. Plus the fact, I started working for myself. I mean, I set up my own time. Even so, with scheduling and getting clients in and follow up and billing and all that. So that kind of put me into my, I would say, my entrepreneur route. That I never thought I have. And so fast, as we were, as the business were picking up and we were doing very good, we started investing into real estate. Start purchasing multi-family homes back in Connecticut. And and this is gonna segue into the real estate pretty soon.
Yeah, I love it.
So as you know, as an average consumer, what they see, what agents do is they putting you in a car, but I'm talking about back then in the 90s, right? They still put you in a car. They put you in a car, drive around and sign contracts, and they make a lot of money. You collect the 6%, right?
Right.
Well, that's what I thought.
Great.
I was like, this is pretty good.
Yeah, this sounds great.
I'm kind of liking this, So it was just interesting because as we start moving into and purchasing more and more, my job was, and this is kind of foreshadowed all my real estate career, right? My job was to get in a car with a realtor, pick the property, negotiate the price. Once we get it done and we closed down a deal, we fixed up, my ex-husband had a crew, we fixed up the properties, and then I was back at it, getting in the rentals, interviewed with the potential people for rentals, tenants inquiries and problem solving and so forth and so forth.
Wow.
So that was my, hey, real estate might be pretty good.
Sure.
And because that's all I had seen. Each time my agent came, we already narrowed down to a few properties. So it was just like a quick deal. I was like, okay, I think I can do this. So around, 2008, Northeast, heavily hit by the real estate crash.
Right.
But because of our investment properties, income was still flowing.
Okay, great.
And I was in a bubble, quite honest. I know there was a market crash, but I didn't really realize the impact on the economy and the average people.
Okay, sure.
And so I started toying with the idea back in 2008. I was like, maybe I should get my real estate license. That would be good.
Okay.
It's an easy job. You dress up pretty, drive a nice car, make a lot of money. That's an easy job, right?
Right. As a consumer,
everybody thinks that.
I think an average consumer does until they actually get into it, for sure.
Exactly, right. Then you go and take your test, and so I went, and in 2009 August, I became a licensee in the state of Connecticut and joined the real estate community.
Okay.
And I was coming up from the top, from the high. Oh my God, I have my license, and this is gonna be cool. I'll just have deals coming in and out. Filed for divorce. I can make it on my own.
Sure.
And then, as just like a typical licensee, I had my rose-colored glasses on.
Right. Sure.
What else is there to do, And so I interviewed with a couple of big brands, and I joined one of them.
Okay.
And I was happy. I was signing papers, giving them checks to sign in and join them. And once I was done, my manager says, okay, so here's the binder. Here's your desk. And back then, actually, they had a telephone on the desk, believe it or not.
Okay. Which is great.
Yeah.
Where are they now? Where are they?
I don't know, right? Mine is right next to me. Like,
right.
They had those clunky regular, hey.
Sure.
So she showed me my desk, the phone, and gave me my binder and shook my hand. And she was like, welcome to the firm.
Wow.
I was like, all right. And she said, now, go get him. I said, go get who?
Gosh.
And she was like, you need to get your clients. I was like, aren't you guys going to give me clients?
Right. Sure. There's no clue. There's no idea.
Like, I had no idea. Real estate school won't teach you that you come in and there is no client, right?
Sure. Sure. I think
That's a
everybody
small
understands
detail that they always leave out.
Right.
They teach you about the contracts and how to keep yourself out of jail, but they never say, oh, by the way.
By the way,
So-
cold calling and marketing and reaching out and sphere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole business, the whole shebang.
Wow.
And on top of it, it's 2009 in Connecticut on Northeast. There
Wow.
is no homes
Wow.
available for sale.
Yeah. Unreal.
They all underwater. So the only homes we're selling are short sales and foreclosures. And we were able to do rentals.
Okay.
But first and foremost, as a brand new agent, you did not get into foreclosures because the top agents, they already had their hands in there and they made the deal with the bankers. So they getting all those foreclosure sales. So here I was, short sales. And as you know, that's the ugliest.
Tough for sure. Yeah.
Ugliest thing to ever to do. You know, you make those calls and call the bankers, and God knows, and they change your person, and then you back on the bottom of the pile, and it's just a bear. It really is. So it was an eye opener.
Okay.
So after my manager told me that I'm responsible to get my own. I got in my car, drove home, poured a glass of wine. And I was like, oh my God, what did I do?
Oh,
right?
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, what am I going to do now? And, well, I figured might as well, since I'm in it, let's make the best of it. And I was very fortunate of my manager at the time. She was a very strong Brian Buffini believer.
Oh, very cool.
So the very first thing that she said, I'll teach you to fish, but you need to go out and fish on your own.
Yeah.
And she said, here's the Brian Buffini system. I'll teach it every, I think she was just starting up a new session.
Okay.
And she dragged me to the success store, Brian Buffini's success store. And I was hooked. I mean, I related to Brian's story.
Oh, yeah.
Knowing that he came to the country as an immigrant.
For sure.
Having nothing. I was like, I'm kind of done the same thing.
Right.
And so I embraced his philosophy, and I'm still till today a Brian Buffini worshiper. I admit it openly.
For sure. Shout out to Brian if you're watching or listening.
Yes. Actually, we just had Brian on. He just had done a webinar for exit people this morning. That was
wonderful.
exclusive to us. So it's really nice to have Brian in our corner. So as as the years progressed, plus when I was writing out those big checks to the company that I joined, one of the smallest check was for the Women's Council of Realtors.
Okay.
And my manager said to me back then, she said, okay, this is the last one, but this is the best investment you ever make in your life.
Okay.
So guess what? I'm here because of Women's Council.
I love that. And in that part, I don't want to stop that story because I do want to get to where you're at to today and exit. But because you mentioned Women's Council, would you mind sharing a little bit about your journey with Women's Council, your involvement, that sort of thing? I think it's really important for everybody to hear.
Sure. But when I joined Women's Council, and as I said, we're talking about back in 2009, I always had, this is funny, because I always had a person to push me to go a little further.
Oh, okay.
So I had a Women's Council lady in our office, and she's like, well, you have to come to a meeting since you're a member, mine as well, right?
Right.
And there was nothing to sell. You could sit there on floor time, then the phone didn't ring. I was like, all right, well, I'll go. What do we have to do? And she's like, well, just kind of a nice luncheon and chit chat. And I said, that sounds pretty good.
Sure.
So I did. And as I started going, and don't forget, when I got into real estate, I had nobody that was in my ecosystem for selling real estate.
Right. Right.
I didn't know any title people. I didn't know any attorneys, home inspectors, nobody.
Right.
Zero. So Women's Con, going to the meeting, that gave me an opportunity to start meeting the players.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because everyone had time. Nobody had a business as they had 3 years ago.
Sure.
So they had time to come to the meetings. They had time to talk to you. And so I started attending, and I got reeled in slowly but surely.
Yep.
I got reeled in, and I was asked to go to a national meeting in the midday meeting for NAR in DC in 2010. And I was like, oh, sure, I have nothing else to do. So, okay.
Yeah.
So I went, and that was it. I mean, after that, you could not keep me away from Women's Council. And it's not just because of the camaraderie in the group, but it had given me an opportunity to grow as a leader.
Right.
And plus the referrals start coming in, because each time I met someone at nationals, I was from Connecticut.
Yeah, sure.
So 2010, I had received my very first referral, and it was a $400,000 condo.
Wow.
Not too shabby, right?
Not at all.
Until today, I became good friend with Amy, and we'll still be in touch. So it started putting me in a path, and I was a little bit on my fault of, I could never say no.
Okay.
So each time they asked me to take a higher position, I was like, okay, sure. So actually we had a joke in our local chapter that don't go to the bathroom, because you come out and you're going to be a president or a vice president with somebody. So
that's great.
Hold it until the meeting is over, and there you go, right?
That's right.
So that's what I had done. I was asked to lead the local chapter. And then after that, I was asked to lead the state of Connecticut. And back in 2015, I was asked to be a regional vice president for that region 5, which covered from Connecticut all the way up to Vermont.
Wow. Okay.
So that was, see, as I was getting prepared for this call, I was like, So starting purchasing the multifamily homes and dealing with tenants and rentals and negotiating, that just kind of pushed me towards real estate.
Right.
Now with Women's Council, now I'm getting pushed towards to do something bigger.
For sure.
And that's exactly what happened. That's because of my Women's Council involvement. I ended up in Colorado and owning the entire state and waving the exit flag in Colorado.
So I want to talk about that, Margaret, and I love the fact that you're addressing, hey, your investments into real estate got you in, and it really pushed you to move forward with your life and your career. Women's Council of Realtors taking the leadership roles and really pushing your knowledge and your basis to a higher level and standard. So can you tell us the story why essentially you left Connecticut and came to Colorado? And then when you came to Colorado, why exit? And tell us, your journey from the beginning of exit to today. So I guess let's
start
that part.
That's the easy one.
Okay. Love it.
So as an agent, I was working as a real estate agent, and but going to this national meeting and being pushed to do something bigger.
Sure.
And sitting at the a bar or a restaurant at those national meetings and just talking to other people all across the United States and other agencies that they work for. And that's when you hear the bad, the ugly, and the good, right?
Agreed.
What are they like or dislike about their company and so forth. And then I just started to open my eyes. I was like, this is exactly what I'm not getting. And I never complained, but I just seen that large companies always say, oh, we have the culture and we have the support and we have this and that. And is it true that they have those?
Right. It's easy
Do
to
they
say
really have that culture that they talk about? Do they really have the support? Do they really have the open door of the manager that you can walk in and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking? And they actually entertain and they listen. So as I said, I started seeing the flaws, and I was ready to take my career to the next level.
Okay.
Not necessarily. I still, if I have to, I go back to sell homes.
Right.
But I was at the point that it wasn't necessarily my cup of tea end of the day.
Sure.
I had grown to do something bigger.
Right.
And throughout my involvement in Women's Council and going to national conventions and so forth, that's where I met our CEO, Tammy Benal, Exit Realty Corp CEO. And I believe that she's coming on your show pretty soon.
Yeah, she should be in next month, I believe.
Very good.
So super excited to have Tammy on.
And she's just really a big exit person. And I had a conversation with her, but she's never been pushy. She's never been salesy. But she, as she talked about exit, it just piqued my interest. I was like,
okay,
sounds like a pretty good company. And as I was going to meetings at nationals, I was seeing more and more people handing out exit business cards.
Interesting. Okay.
So I was like, that's interesting, right?
Yeah.
What's with this exit thing? Like, the lady's pretty nice. My friends are joining the company. I said, I should check into this.
Yeah.
And because of our conversation, Tammy had known that I had grown to take it to the next level.
Right.
But I didn't know what was the next level. I just knew that I have to go somewhere with this.
Right.
And so in 2015, when I was a regional RVP for Women's Council, we were holding a huge Northeast conference.
Okay.
And Tammy was one of our speakers. She bought the brand new regional owner for Connecticut, and they were looking for a managing broker to open a new office in Norwalk.
Okay.
So she kind of was the connector, and I had accepted the position.
Wow.
So in June of 2015, I joined Exit as a managing broker for a brand new office in Norwalk.
Okay.
So go ahead.
No, I was just to say, so going through that process, I love the fact that, you putting yourself in the position to meet incredible people at the National Association of Realtors, and anybody out there who hasn't been to a NAR conference or event, I would highly recommend it. As Margaret is saying, I find the speakers and the topics to be valuable. Don't get me wrong, but so many of the offshoot conversations for breakfast and lunch and coffees and cocktails, it's those side conversations that you get to learn and grow and network. And I absolutely love it. Totally recommend it. But I love the fact that you had met Tammy and she had struck you and something stood out. It sparked your interest. You saw continued movement. You kept seeing it.
Right.
You went in to dive in. You learned more, and obviously you made the move for those reasons. Fantastic. So from that position into Norwalk, what was that like from there to Colorado? Let's keep going down that story, because I think it's fantastic.
Oh, going down that path.
Yeah.
So as you probably understand, once you join a company on a managerial position, that's when you actually see the back end, how that company really works.
Sure.
And so as a managing broker, I had a chance, and I absolutely fall in love with the company. I was just like, I take him back, and I said, anything that Tammy told me about this company, it's a real deal.
Okay. Right.
And And that was very important to me because I was used to hearing stuff from my company, and that it never came to fruition.
That's sad. That's too bad. Yeah, it's the talk is cheap sort of mentality, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So that, as I started seeing that, oh, actually this company is genuine. They truly do what they say.
Wow.
And then one day I went home and I told Kevin, I said, I want to own my own exit franchise.
Wow.
And Kevin just looked at me. I mean, he worked for a company back then. He looked at me. He's like, oh, no, we don't. We are not buying a franchise. It's not going to happen.
Wow. Okay.
This is not going to happen because I'm going to kill all of your agents.
Oh,
I'm going to kill all your agents, all your clients. It's just going to be ugly. We just can't do it. So because what he had seen, he was a consumer.
Right.
So he only seen those 8:00 phone calls when you try to negotiate the deals. He only seen when the other agents is yelling at you because whatever reason they were yelling.
Yeah, something blew up. Yeah.
Yes. So that's all he had seen. And but I would just keep picking. I said, okay, so we need to do something bigger. Yeah. And we were kind of newlyweds still in 15, 16.
Yeah.
And so because of his job, he traveled a lot.
Oh, okay.
I mean, literally he left on Monday morning or Sunday night, came home Friday or Saturday morning.
Okay. So yeah, that's a serious amount of travel.
And so we started looking into like, okay, so if it's not a franchise, then what? But I knew that I need to stay with Exit.
Okay.
I said, that's my career. Real estate is my career. I had taken it to a next step.
Sure.
But I want to stay with the company. I am not going to anywhere else. This is my home. This is my family.
Right.
And the call went to Tammy Bernal. Say, hey, Tammy, what else is there for us?
Okay.
And that's when she said, buy a franchise. And I was like, no, that's already been ruled out. It's not going to happen. Not because we don't love the company, but I don't want any bloodbath. So, and Tammy said, well, then bypass the franchising, take it to the next level, own an entire state.
Wow.
And help us build it. And we were like,
okay.
That sounds pretty good.
Yep.
So what does it entail? And then we explored what was entailed to own a region and be a regional owner. And in 2016 March, we signed the contract and we were officially regional owners for Exit Realty in Colorado.
Unreal. Okay. And I love the fact that you're looking at it from that, taking it to the bigger standpoint, Margaret. And I think it's kind of the path of your life that you're laying out for everybody here is really looking at from that next spot, the next level. How can you really grow and excel and not just your lives, but the people that are around you and through the exit model. So now that we're here in Colorado and we got through the story and we laid the foundation, could you let everybody know why Exit? Because during that time frame, and I know that you saw, you met with Tammy and you saw movement around Exit, and they actually back up what they say they're going to do, and all of that really is important. But for anybody out there who maybe isn't familiar with Exit or just kind of the differences between Exit and other brokerages, would you mind sharing just a little bit about that, kind of why you're so passionate about Exit just as a whole? Just to give everybody a little bit more.
I can just sum it up in one sentence.
I love it.
Because Exit is enriches lives.
Okay.
And that's it.
Yeah.
You come on board with Exit and you'll do better. And it's not just a slogan. It's not just, just a one-liner, but that's absolutely true. We have so many agents and so many brokers in nationwide, but even in Colorado.
Oh yeah.
That they came on board, brand new agents, never sold a house. They put their head down. They had taken the trainings that we offer at almost no cost.
Wow.
Or or minimal cost most of our time. And they get their head down and they sell 12, 13, 14 homes the first year.
It's awesome.
So that's a differentiator with Exit.
Mm-hmm.
We actually do what we say we do.
Right.
I mean, obviously, we only can hold agents accountable because the independent brokers, the independent, they are the CEO of their company, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We can't take them to the water, but we can make them drink.
Right. Well said. Well said.
So, but all the tools that we offer for a brand new agent, that would put them in a path to be successful. Because what really bothers me, and it's always been like that, you get your license, you get into real estate, and not knowing that that's all commission based.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't sell a home, guess what?
You
don't have any money coming in.
Yeah, it's not happening.
The mortgage payments are coming and the car payments are coming.
Right.
But you don't have income. Wow. And that's why it's a really sad data from NAR that 1/3 of the licensees that come into the industry, they be gone in 18 months.
Wow, 1/3. Wow.
1/3. Now, if you are a CEO of a company and 1/3 of your employees leave every 18 months.
Scary stat.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that's my challenge for myself, to do as much as I can on helping brokers to bring up their agents, bring them the tools, the coaching, mentoring, and online courses, whatever they need to keep those agents. So the agents won't struggle and then eventually they have to leave because there is no income coming in.
Right. And I think a lot of that stems from, as you stated, the tools, the support, portions of the leadership and mentorship that are associated with that. And, there are wonderful brokerages and there are not so great brokerages and or operations, and there's pluses and minuses, but the intimate conversations that I've had with wonderful producers out of Exit, and especially here in the state of Colorado, they love it. And the tools and the support and the happiness that comes from the successes of their teams and their agents, it's phenomenal. And, so I've experienced nothing but positivity, out of there from a personal perspective. But obviously, because you see everybody through the state of Colorado and what's happening in the growth factor. So, I mean, there's just so many things to take away into that. And speaking of, information and support and different data for people to pull into, Margaret, I know that you guys are setting up a virtual event that's coming up here soon. So I would love for you to share a little bit of information about that, because that's open to everyone. Right? Okay. So yeah, if you could share a little bit about
Absolutely.
that.
As we always hold a large event that's open to all the real estate industry people or mortgage or title, anyone who's related to real estate. And we usually hold the event in May, but due to COVID, we didn't do it last year.
Okay.
And so we're getting back to the saddle, and we all have one of those big events, probably on Zoom, but not live.
Sure.
But also we are planning 2 educational events that will cover the new rules and regulations that came in to Colorado.
Wow.
There's some interesting new laws that non-real estate agents have to follow. I don't know if you heard about the Crown law.
No, I don't think so.
So that's a little bit controversial.
Okay.
We do have a fair housing law.
Sure.
So you can't really discriminate against race, color, and so forth and so forth. But as of last, I believe so, there was last year. Now we have a new law that you can discriminate against your hair style and color.
I did not know that. I don't know why that would happen. I didn't realize that people were doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll be putting in together a little bit of controversial topic
Sure.
event, and we are shooting for end of February, beginning of March.
Okay.
And obviously we'll post the event on social media. You'll find it on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, whatever.
And with that, so anybody who's watching or listening, they could go to Exit Realty Colorado Facebook page.
Exit Realty Colorado.
Okay.
And it's on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. You name it, we are everywhere.
Okay. And if you wouldn't mind too, Margaret, and I'll try to keep an eye on it as well, but if you wouldn't mind, when the dates are solidified, if you wouldn't mind sending me the links, then I could send it to everybody here who's tuning in. And that way, they could RSVP and get great information, get a little controversy in your life, but learn, which is important too.
Yes.
Cause you know how this is. Sometimes the information can be stale, and it's nice to freshen things up and really learn different topics and perspectives. So I just learned something today. I didn't realize that was a thing. So
I didn't know about it till about 2 weeks ago.
Wow. Yeah.
And my reaction was the same thing, like, really?
Who would do that? I don't know. Okay. Well,
we really need a law for this, but I guess we did.
It's happened enough apparently, but
I know, right?
I'll make sure that I have links in the comments below as always with that, Margaret. And I want one final question before we wrap everything up. And this has been an absolute pleasure just to kind of get to know your path and your story and your passion and everything that's going on. But for anybody who's watching or listening, and I know you have a ton of different perspectives, so you can take this from any angle, but really, if you could go back at your career and pick or choose one or two things that you added to your business that really took it to another level, any advice that you give anybody who's watching or listening, who's in real estate, what would that be?
Sure. In last week or a week before, the time just going so fast.
Sure.
I was listening to Inman. I'm a very big Inman follower.
Love
and
it.
I tend to attend their January meetings. And what I heard throughout the day is that first and foremost, the companies needs to adjust to be agent centric. And I was just cracking up because I was like, oh my gosh, Steve Morris, our chairman and founder, figured this out 24 years ago.
I was going to say, you guys have been doing that.
Exit was built on being an agent centric. Hello. And now we're going to be like, let's build something agent friendly.
Wow.
So that has been done. And also actually the biggest takeaway for me listening to Inman was, how can agents and brokers future proof their business?
Okay.
Because in the past, last year, because of COVID, we ended up having so much new, not really new, but it was new to the how to run a business come to you that could have taken many, many years.
Right.
Because I heard over and over again for years and years, you guys have to start doing video. You have to start doing, guess what? How many agents are still not doing videos?
A lot. Yeah.
And that's where we're heading. Or how can you streamline your transactions? We're never going to, big bad wolves are putting out, well, the technology will take over and your agents, nobody's going to need an agent. Well, that's not what I'm hearing.
Right.
They're always going to need someone who is a trusted advisor. But that's how you can future proof your business.
Right.
That learn the business.
Wow.
Don't just be, hey, feed me, give me leads, because that will provide you a minimal income.
Sure.
And that's not going to be sustainable.
No.
But if you learn to future proof your business, build your ecosystem, get involved, get your home inspectors and title and mortgage people around you who will actually support your business, and just build that relationship. So you don't have to rely on the lead, and then you make your own, you become your own company. And I think that's the biggest problem. That agents, sometimes they do not have the entrepreneur's brain.
Right.
They're still coming into the industry thinking that, oh, I get paid. And that's when all the lead feeding comes in, that, hey, feed me, because I need to get some money. I need to feed my family.
Right.
And so that was my biggest takeaway, to get future proof the business. And I'm going to do a shameless plug on Exit right now.
Let's do it.
what is the best way to future-proof a business than as an exit formula?
Okay.
Our exit formula was invented 24 years ago. It's not new, obviously.
Yeah.
A lot of people benefited from it. And if you're not familiar with, other companies not trying to mimic it or put a twist on it. And,
okay.
but ours is super transparent. We have a temp residual program that each time an agent joins because of you. Let's see, you are an agent with another brand, and I say, hey, Greg, I love my broker. Come on over. You're gonna love Exit, and you do. So each time you close a deal, then I will receive 10% of your gross commission.
Wow.
And it's not coming out of your part of the commission.
Sure.
It's coming back from Exit Corp.
Right. It's company structure that way.
It's company structured like that. Wow. And so every agent, and it's a single level residual. You have your friend Susie, and said, hey, Susie, I love where I got in. Come on board. Guess what? You and Susie has the deal. I have nothing to do with it.
Wow. Okay.
There is no steering, like the pyramid setup or anything. It's a single level residual.
Okay.
And we have many agents. Actually, in our region in Colorado, our average producing agent makes over $34,000 a year just in single level residuals.
Unreal.
So future proofing your business, what if you can put back money into your business so you can attend those conferences?
Right.
Start the nonprofit, support a food bank. This is all clean. It's money. It's true, clean cash.
Sure.
You don't have to wait for it. You don't have to wait 2 years, 3 years, whatever. As soon as your buddy close a deal, you get a text message say, "Oh, we just dropped in like $500 into your bank account."
Not a bad deal.
Not a bad deal at all. And then God forbid something happens to you, and you break a leg and you can't work, or you're in a hospital for a long time, then you continue having residual 7%.
Wow.
That could pay for a nice hospital bill, right?
For sure.
And God forbid you are out showing homes, you are on 25, and the semi takes you out.
Let's
then
hope
guess
not.
what? Your family continue receiving 5% of your residuals.
Wow. Okay.
So I think Steve Morris kind of figured out how can be future proof anyone's business.
Yeah.
And that just one of them. It's giving you an opportunity to utilize some extra money that you would not come to, and use it for your own pleasure, how you want to spend it.
Well, and I like that aspect because there's so many different avenues, and not there's a lot of brokers that don't quite understand that. Being able to do your job as you normally would and be incentivized to help people, along the way and get involved with what you're involved with and have that residual, I think is fantastic. And I think that should be questioning to everybody out there who's watching or listening. Is that my current situation? Am I getting the support that I'm looking for, the mentorship and the leadership, the camaraderie? Am I in a place that it's supportive to grow, and does it help me future-proof? All those things are intriguing to anybody who's watching or listening. And Margaret, I know that there's so many more avenues we can go down. And what I always love to do is encourage everybody to reach out to you directly. So if anything stuck out to you and anybody's watching or listening and you want to know more about Margaret or Exit or opportunities, I would love for them to reach out to you directly. Please follow Margaret on every social media platform. But what's the best way for people to reach out? Is it phone call, text, or email? What's the best way for that?
Phone call, text, emails.
Okay.
But I'm going to share my mobile business card with everyone.
Oh, very cool.
It's given to all Exit associates.
Okay.
And so anyone who would like to have a chat with me regarding, hey, I'm thinking to own a franchise or join one of your offices, then just text Exit Colorado. It's one word, no spacing, Exit Colorado to 85377.
Okay.
And then you'll get my mobile business card with all my information in it.
Absolutely awesome. And I'll have that in the comments down below, just in case if anybody is watching or listening or anything in between. But Margaret, I can't thank you enough for taking the time, sharing your story, absolutely inspiring, and for where you came from to your journey and your path all the way to today, and so many people that you've helped change their lives and their worlds into real estate. And I just can't thank you enough for your time and sharing that story. It was an absolute blast for sure.
No, thank you for inviting me. And it was a great pleasure to chat and enjoy the afternoon.
As always, anytime I get to talk to you, Margaret, it's a blast for sure. But everybody, thank you as always for your time and attention, your love and support. If you like hear what we're doing with Real Estate Titans, don't forget to like and subscribe. You know what to do at this point. I actually do want to make this official though, Margaret. You are an official Real Estate Titan. So that is a title you can wear proudly. It is there. You are dubbed. That is fantastic. But I do have to give our sponsor a quick shout out, Lion Bolt Media. If you are in real estate and you're looking to grow and scale on the digital end, really looking at it for marketing and advertising, building brand awareness, lead generation, conversion, visit lionboltmedia.com. Now, we are live here on Real Estate Titans every Tuesday afternoon with a different Titan in a different location. We'll catch everybody in the next live episode of Real Estate Titans. Take care. Thanks, Margaret.
Bye.